Good evening. Welcome to the first International Art Show featuring the rich cultural arts of India. I'm delighted to be here with you tonight for this very special event. The music we were just listening to was Rag Jog by young sitar maestro Anushka Shankar and friends. My name is John Caldwell, Professor of South Asian Studies at UNC Chapel Hill. My engagement with India dates from the 1980s when I joined a Bollywood band in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Now I teach Hindi Urdu at UNC as well as courses in South Asian music. For the past 25 years, I've co-directed UNC's Summer in India Study Abroad program and co-hosted the Triangle Zone South Asian radio show, Geet Bazaar, with my colleague, Dr. Afroz Taj, every Sunday morning. This evening is brought to you by International Focus. The mission of International Focus is to connect the people of the Triangle area with the world through arts, education, cultural exchanges, and celebration of achievements. This art show is the first in a series honoring artists all over the world who have suffered due to the pandemic. For this series, International Focus is reaching out to artists in North Carolina, across the United States, and all over the world. We intend this as a tribute to all the artists who play such an important role in improving our lives, and as an expression of solidarity and support in these unprecedented times. Our prime objective is to promote art as a language of beauty and peace between people and nations. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors, for making this night possible, as well as the Heritage India Association of North Carolina, Rohini Thakkar Joshi, and the International Focus board member, Sejal Mehta, for all of their heartfelt contributions to this event. Our special collaborators for this show are Professor Alan Buck of Meredith College and Asha Bala, renowned dancer, educator, and director of the Leela Foundation. Tonight, we are in for a special treat of dance and music, along with visual art and video meetings with some of the artists. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our special guest, North Carolina Heritage Award winner, Asha Bala. Asha ji is a performer, scholar of South Indian classical dance, and director of the Leela Foundation, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to link the community and the arts. Asha ji, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, and namaste, John.
Namaste. We are honored to have you with us to provide context for the dances, the ceremonies, and the artwork we'll be watching. In India, it is traditional to begin a performance with a lamp lighting ceremony and an invocation. The invocation will be sung tonight by Smita K. Prasad. Smita ji is the first Carnatic musician to receive a Regional Artist Award from the United Arts Council in North Carolina. Smita is also the chairperson of the Leela Foundation. Now, Asha ji, would you like to explain the significance of this ritual and the accompanying prayer?
Sure, but before I address your question, John, I'd like to take a moment to express my gratitude to the International Focus for inviting us to be part of their first virtual art show. We at Leela Foundation are honored to be your special guests, and we look forward to seeing the performing and the visual arts of India come together this evening. And now to your question, John. We have this beautiful verse in the Indian scriptures, Asatoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityormar Amritam Gamaya. Lead us from falsehood to truth, from darkness to light, from mortality to immortality. The lighting of the lamp in the Indian tradition signifies all of this. It signifies the dispelling of darkness, darkness arising out of ignorance, ignorance that leads to prejudice, bigotry, and hatred. The lighting of the lamp removes this darkness and leads us to truth, to knowledge, to wisdom. That is why even today, in many of the Indian households, they still begin the day by lighting an oil lamp. Similarly, before any important occasion, a ceremonial lamp is lit to invoke the blessings of the higher powers so that the event will go smoothly without any glitch. So in keeping with that tradition, we'll begin this wonderful event by lighting a lamp to the singing of an invocatory song by Smita Prasad.
सुवक्षोजकुम्भां सुधापूर्णकुम्भां प्रसादावलम्बां प्रपुण्यावलम्बां सदा सेन्दुबिम्बां सदा लोलबिम्बां भजे शारदाम्बामजसम्मदम्बाम् कटाक्षे दयाद्रा कहे ज्ञानमुद्रा कलाभिर्विनिद्रां कलापै सुभद्रां पुरस्त्रीयनिद्रा पुरस्तुङ्गभद्रां भजे शारदाम्बामजसम्मदम्बा ललामाङ्गपालं लसत्कानलोलां स्वभक्तैकपालं यशस्वीकपोलं करे त्वक्षमाला कनकपत्रलोलं भजे शारदाम्बामजसम्मदम्बा सुसीमन्तवेणीं दृशानिर्जितैर्नीं रमत्केदवाणीं नमत्पत्रपाणिं सुधामन्दरास्यां मुदाचव्यवेणीं भजे शारदाम्बामजसम्मदम्बा सुशान्तां सुदेहां मृगल्पे क्वचान्तां लसत्सल्लकान्तिं मनं तामचिन्त्यां स्मृतां तां तपये सर्वपूर्वस्थितां तां भजे शारदाम्बामजसम्मदम्बा कुरंगे तुरंगे मृगेन्द्र खगेन्द्र मराळे मदेवे महोक्षेदिरूढां महत्पुन्नवम्या सदा सामरूपां भजे शारदाम्बामजसम्मदम्बा ज्वलत्कान्तिवह्निं जगन्मोहनाङ्गीं भजन्मानसां भोजसुभ्रान्तभृङ्गीं निजस्तोत्रसङ्गीतनृत्यप्रभाङ्गीं भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजसम्मदम्बा भावां भोजनेत्राब्ज सम्पूज्यमानं लसन्मन्दहासप्रभावत्नचिह्नं चलच्चञ्चलच्चारुताटङ्गकर्णं भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजसम्मदम्बां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजसम्मदम्बां भजे शारदाम्बाम् अजसम्मदम्बा.
Thank you, Smita ji, and thank you, Asha ji. So we've begun our art show on a very propitious note and with a beautiful vocal piece by Smita Prasad ji. Thank you. Next, we will see a video recording of Asha ji's dance troupe performing a piece in Bharatanatyam style. Asha ji, what distinguishes Bharatanatyam from the many other Indian dance traditions?
So India has a varied dance tradition that includes the folk dance tradition, the ritualistic dance tradition, the hugely popular Bollywood dances, and the classical dance tradition. Bharatanatyam belongs to the classical dance tradition that has come to be regarded as one of the national treasures of India. This tradition, the Indian classical dance tradition, was nurtured and developed in the temples of India thousands of years ago as part of daily temple worship. These dances bring together Indian myths and legends to convey spiritual and philosophical sensibilities, and they do so through an evolved vocabulary of hand gestures, eye movements, and body movements that have to all come together to bring out the beauty and essence of this dance form. It takes many years of practice and dedication for students to get an understanding of these movements, to get an understanding of the deeper meanings behind the myths and legends. More than a performing art, Bharatanatyam is an education in itself. This is in contrast to the Bollywood dances that are an entertainment form of dance. They do not require this kind of intense training, nor for that matter, the beautiful folk dances. These are communal dances. They are fun, they are simple, they are repetitive. So it is the complexity of the movement It is the spiritual and philosophical content of the dance. It is the evolved musical compositions they are danced to. And it is the intense sadhana and dedication required to learn this dance. It is all of this that distinguishes Bharatanatyam from the other dance traditions of India. I hope I have answered your question, John.
Yes, very thoroughly. Thank you, Ashaji. Now, can you introduce your dance troupe to us? Are these your students or?
These are my students from Leela School of Dance. Many of them have been with me for anywhere between 8 and 10 years. And I would like to also introduce you to the orchestra. The lead singer for the song, Deepanjali, is Smita Prasad. On the mridangam is Rohan Krishnamurti. On the violin is Vikram Raghu. And on the flute is Flute Raman. And on the natuvangam is myself playing, giving the rhythm and keeping it together.
Marvelous. So now let's enjoy Deepanjali, which is an offering of lights. Thank you, Asha, and all of your amazing student dancers. Let's have a round of applause for everybody. By the way, you're all invited to send questions or comments via chat at any time, and we have Leila is keeping track of the chat, and we'll make sure I intercept or I receive any questions. So if anyone would like to ask any questions of Asha or any of the participants, please let us know. Ashaji, can you tell us a little bit about how Bharatnatyam is taught and learned in North Carolina?
Sure. So Bharatanatyam is part of a rich cultural tradition in India that puts a lot of weight to humility, to respect for elders, respect for your guru, respect for the arts. So it is within this cultural tradition that Bharatanatyam is taught in India. And students imbibe these traditions naturally by way of learning them. So although Bharatanatyam has traveled many miles from its country of origin to be widely practiced and performed all across the US and in North Carolina here, these traditions cannot be bypassed. They cannot be ignored because they are an integral part of this dance. So it is these traditions which give this dance its richness. Without the traditions, the dance is a beautiful shell. So it is important that besides teaching the technique of Bharatanatyam, the history of Bharatanatyam, the students are made aware of these rich cultural traditions as they learn this dance. One such beautiful tradition is the practice of doing namaskaram. This is by way of paying respect to the dancing space and to the teachers. So this is done before and after every class. So I have my student here, Diya Rao, who will demonstrate this tradition for us. She will recite a Sanskrit verse, Guru Vandana, to honor the Gurus and then do the Namaskar.
Guru Vandana. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat, Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Another beautiful tradition is reverence to the bells that are worn. And these bells have to be blessed by the teacher every time it is worn by the student. Like so, once again, Diya will demonstrate that. Thank you, Diya. So, as I said, along with the dance, it is our responsibility to teach these students who are brought up in a totally different cultural environment, for them to make them aware of these traditions that are a part and parcel of the learning of this dance form.
Wonderful, thank you. And thank you, Diya, that was marvelous. We have a question, which is that what characteristics and attributes do you look for in a prospective student?
That's a nice question. I would say patience, humility. I always say patience is very important. I always compare the learning of Bharatanatyam to the beautiful the Japanese maple tree. It is so beautiful, but it takes forever to grow, to come, to blossom and to get its full beauty. So Bharatanatyam is like that. You cannot hurry it. It takes its own time. And, I'm going to ask if Smita would like to weigh in on this. She has two different perspectives. So please feel free to, Smita.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Asha. As Asha mentioned, I have a unique perspective. I am a teacher, a performer on one hand, but I'm also a parent of a student of classical dance. And I think the best way to encapsulate it is that it takes discipline, determination, dedication. And I think one of the most important characteristics for Indian classical art forms is also devotion. And I think, Asha, that's what you alluded to.
Thank you, Smita. Yes, I have experienced this myself, and I know that learning, a musical art or a dance form requires so much dedication and devotion, as you both said. And also this concept of humility, which I find very interesting, because it's something that, I think, especially in American culture, the younger generations don't learn humility until later in life, right? So I think it's something that's really important, but it must be learned before you can absorb anything from a teacher, right? You need to put yourself in the position of a student, which is difficult in these days of digital everything, right? And I have a quick question, Asha, also about the choreography. I understand that you're the choreographer for your dance items. So can you tell us about the concepts involved in your choreography?
So when it is a pure dance form, like the Panjali was, so these are made up of rhythmic movements that are organized in geometric patterns in space. So for this particular choreography, we brought in three different elements. One was paying tribute to the presiding deity of the stage by offering the lamp. The second was to pay respects to the four guardian angels of the four directions, north, south, east, and west, so that the performance will be protected from any natural calamities. And finally, the students, the dancers, pay their respect to the audience who have gathered to watch their performance. So that was the rationale behind the choreography for that particular piece.
Thank you. That's really interesting. And it is a good segue into our first segment of artworks, because as you mentioned, the idea of space, working with space on stage, is similar to what a painter or a sculptor would do. So thank you again, Asha ji and Smita ji and Dia ji, for all of your interesting contributions. Now we're going to see our first segment of artwork and hear from some of the artists. The art show is produced by Professor Alan Buck, and he's behind the scenes running everything. So thank you, Alan. This is International Focus's first virtual art show, so please be patient as we navigate the webinar interface. In tonight's program, we will give you a brief taste of the amazing artworks in the show. To view the artworks at your own leisure, we invite you to visit our website, which is www.internationalfocus.org. All of the artworks and videos will remain on the website until January 3rd, so you can go back and look at anything you like and take your time. We will show the art in 3 segments. Each segment will run for about 8 or 9 minutes. Short videos by some of the artists will be interspersed with the artworks. Between the second and third segment, we will have another dance video featuring Asha's talented student troupe. Between segments, you will also have the opportunity to ask questions and make comments about the artworks and the dance using the chat function on Zoom. So please feel free to jump in and we'll keep track of your questions as they come in. The artworks are in a variety of media, including oil and acrylics, watercolors, photographs, and multimedia works that incorporate textiles and even 22-karat gold. In the first segment, the background music will be Raga Jhinjhoti, featuring Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma on santoor, which is like a dulcimer, and Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia on bamboo flute. So take it away, Alan.
Hi, my name is Raleigh. I live in the UK. I'm a portrait textile artist depicting women, children, and social situation. My mom was a great embroiderer, therefore, most probably I inherited the passion from her. Also learned to sew when I was very young. I was a nurse for 25 years and I gave it up to have my son and later went to university to get an applied art degree specializing in textiles. My work is usually visually narrative and strongly influenced by my Indian heritage. I work with recycled fabric and cotton thread. My subjects are usually taken from photographs. Either it's given to me by photographers or I have taken it myself. The subject of my work is to spread love and passion and support poverty. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shorab. I'm a visual artist from New Jersey. I live in Bridgewater. Style is about cubism, figurative and geometric abstraction. I gain my inspiration from artists such as Pablo Picasso, F.N. Souza, M.F. Hussein, and some of the more contemporary artists like George Condo and such. So this is a tour of my studio. It's in my basement and I have some large as well as smaller artworks. That's a Buddha. It's a 60 by 48 oil on canvas. Life of a Mannequin, the Water Bearers. You know, a lot of my exhibits, people have asked me, wow, your paintings are quite colorful, and I joke, if you shut down the lights, they might even glow. So there is a boldness in color. There's a lot of black line work, as you've seen. What I really want my paintings to speak of are the raw emotions.
Wow, that was amazing. And we have 2 more segments to go, so lots more art to see. I'm fascinated in what we've seen so far by how many different themes are represented in these artworks. We've seen Hindu and Buddhist iconography, cityscapes, images of people working and performing. We've also seen paintings inspired by the folk arts of India from all over South Asia, including Rangoli powder art, Madhubani painting, Varli painting, and Tanjavur gold painting. And I know we have lots more to come, some abstract works as well as some representational works. So a really wide variety. And I'll just remind you that all of these artworks are on the International Focus website. So you can go and look them over again in your spare time or in your free time. And also we're looking for more questions from our attendees on chat. So feel free to submit comments and questions as we go along. Asha, I do have another question for you, which I think is very interesting, which is, how would you describe yourself as a teacher? What's your instructional style? Are you very strict, or and where do you get your inspiration for teaching and for creating your choreography?
I think you should ask Dia, who is still over here, and she might be able to weigh in and be honest about what kind of a teacher I am. So I could ask, you could ask her.
Hey Dia, let's hear from Dia. What?
Namaste. I would say that Ashanti's teaching style is very student focused. She emphasizes that while she is the teacher and she's there to guide us, our biggest responsibility as students and dancers is that whatever the dance, we have to give whatever we give the dance, that's what the dance gives back to us. It's an equal symbiotic relationship, and we will only get so much out of the dance as what we give it. That is something that is very emphasized in our dance school.
Thank you, Dia. That's really important to hear from the student perspective. Ashaji, you may get some new recruits after tonight's show. And the other part of the question was, the other part of the question, Ashaji, was where do you get your inspiration for your amazing choreography? From your own teachers or from somewhere else?
Of course, my teachers have been a great influence, and my teaching style has been influenced by how they teach. So yes, the inspiration for choreography, it depends. It varies from piece to piece. A lot of it is based on the musical compositions that we dance to. And as you may or may not know that I have a master's in modern dance. So having studied at American University modern dance, so the compositions, the way choreography is done over there has heavily influenced my composition in Bharatanatyam. So that has been a huge factor. As far as teaching, again, modern dance has helped me in breaking down the complex movements into more bite-sized pieces for students to understand it. When we learned it from my teachers, they would just teach it to us, and it was a different time. You have the luxury of time to learn it. Now it's different. So I'm able to break it down. These are things that I picked up when I was studying modern dance. So it makes it easier for students to learn it this way.
Thank you. So we'll, again, as I mentioned earlier, we'll see another amazing dance performance after the next segment of art, which we will proceed to right now. So let's look at the next set of artworks and meet some more of the artists. In this segment, the background music will be Dr. L. Subramaniam's composition, Conversations, featuring Dr. L. Subramaniam on violin, along with the famous French violinist, Jean-Luc Ponty, and percussionist Billy Cobham.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shobha Vanchiswa. I'm an artist from Chappaqua, New York. My work is on the women of India. Women in India are historically called devis or goddesses, meant to be respected, protected, and revered. The reality, of course, is not quite so exalted. The real women of India are seen in rural and/or underprivileged communities. They're strong in every way, incredibly hardworking, and tireless in their mission to uphold traditional values and raise their children as best they can. As an artist, I am compelled to portray them as such. Not pretty or glamorous images, but I wanted to depict them in their quiet dignity under arduous circumstances. Their world is not an easy one, but they hold it up with great inner strength. Similarly, my 6 paintings in this series have a very strong message, but they're deliberately diminutive and gentle. As Mahatma Gandhi said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Cesar Sabalas. I'm an artist, also an architect, and my connection with the Indian culture has to do with my cousins who are married to Indian descent from India. And my inspiration comes from the geometry of nature and also the light that projects into the surfaces and spaces. I do a lot of travelings around the world and I carry a sketchbook. I always sketch on location, and I would like to thank International Focus for this great opportunity to present my artwork. Again, thank you and happy art world. Thank you.
I'm Chandana Srinath from Dublin, California, born and brought up in Bangalore, India. Professionally, I'm a physical therapist with a master's in orthopedics and sports medicine and a master's in healthcare administration. Art has been an integral part of me, and I was greatly inspired by my mother, who is an artist herself. Art has become my passion. It gives me immense pleasure, satisfaction, and relaxation from daily life. Most of my work is related to the folk art from different parts of India. My art showcases the harmony between nature and humans. My ambition is to bring this forgotten art form to life and spread it across the world. Some examples of art forms I use are Madhubani, Gond, Varli, Pad, Patachitra, and Chitara. I use acrylic and oils, and I use a nib pen, tip pen to do my intricate work. Thank you.
Wow, so impressive, amazing, all the talent. And again, these are artworks from not only North Carolina, not only all over the US, but also from South Asia and other parts of the world, and UK, etc. So we have a very wide range of artists and experiences expressed in the paintings. Next, we will experience another recorded performance of the dancers from Ashaji's Leela Foundation. And again, you can ask us questions, ask Ashaji questions at any point during the dance performances. So Asha, although this piece that we're about to see, I know narrates an episode from the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata, I understand that it was inspired by the Me Too movement. Can you discuss how Bharatanatyam tradition remains relevant in the modern day?
Sure. So yes, Bharatanatyam is a traditional dance form that is many years old. However, it has the ability for its narrative to adapt and address issues of race, color, and gender that are relevant to all times, particularly in today's times. So for this second piece, we have taken a traditional story from the Indian epic, the Mahabharata, that puts focus on one of the most searing moments in Indian mythology, the unspeakable humiliation of Queen Draupadi, who is the principal female character in the epic, as she is dragged by her hair and disrobed in the royal court in front of all after she was lost in a game of dice played between her 5 husbands, the Pandava kings, who will be shown in green, and their evil and treacherous cousins, the 100 Kauravas, who will be shown in blue. So as Yudhishthira, the oldest of the Pandava, sits down to play with Shakuni, the conniving uncle of the Kauravas, what Yudhishthira didn't know was that Shakuni's dice were enchanted. They were fixed to always favor him. So not knowing that, he keeps increasing the stakes, saying not 1, but 2, not 2, but 3, until in the end, he loses all his wealth, his crown and kingdom, and finally his queen. Stricken by shame and panic, Draupadi begs her husband to save her. But they are helpless, and so are the elder statesmen who watch in shameful silence, until in the end she throws up her hands to her friend and savior, Lord Krishna, who sends endless lengths of sari to save her honor and empower her, as today's women have become empowered enough to fight their abusers. So through this beautiful Bharatanatyam piece, composed in 16th century India, Hari Tumharo, we remind our viewers that the Me Too movement is not new, but it is a crescendo of collective feminine pain arising out of years of abuse and mistreatment of women. Hari Tumharo, a homage to the Me Too movement and to all the women across the world. Please enjoy. Women have been historically viewed as the weaker sex. But weaker by what definition? In what way was Draupadi weaker than her 5 husbands who staked her in a game of dice? In what way was she weaker than all the wise men like Bhishma, Dronacharya, Dhritarashtra, who sat and watched silently as she was disrobed in the royal court in front of all? In what way was she weaker? This is the story of tyrants and victims, of secrets and lies. This is the story of women who have endured years of abuse. This is the story of silence that has given voice to this abuse, be it against a noble queen or against you and me. This is their story. This is our story.
She said. He said. 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 She said. She said. She said. She said. I said. I said. We said. Your time is up. This then is the story of bravery, strength, and solidarity. Of women standing together for truth. Truth that has power. Truth that will not be threatened. Truth that has a voice.
Thank you, Asha, again, and thank you to all of your wonderful dancers and students. That was very moving and very relevant to today. So you've demonstrated fully that Bharatanatyam is still very much a force in today's world. I think we just have one more question, which is about how Bharatanatyam incorporates both abstract dance as well as narrative dance. Can you explain your inspirations for both kinds of dance?
So, Bharatanatyam is divided into two distinct aspects. One is the Nritya aspect, or the abstract dance, which is made up of rhythmic movements that are organized in geometric patterns in space, like we saw in the Deepanjali piece. And the next aspect is the Nritya aspect, or the narrative aspect, where dancers use hand gestures, eye movement, body movements to narrate, to tell a story or narrate an incident from the numerous Indian myths and legends. So the inspiration for all of this, in the case of the abstract dances, which are rhythmic dances, the inspiration is usually the rhythms that we are using. So we listen to the rhythms, and based on the rhythms, we form the choreography. That is one way of doing the choreography. In the narrative aspect, there are numerous inspirations. One is, of course, the music. The other is the poetry. The other is a painting, a sculpture, nature. These are all the inspirations that are used to create stories. And of course, the stories themselves, they are rich fodder for choreography.
Wonderful, thank you. So please, I encourage all of our attendees to have another round of applause for Asha ji and her troupe of dancers. So thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
And I'm glad you mentioned that often painting and sculpture can be a source of inspiration for choreography, because I know a lot of the Bharatanatyam historical research has looked at some of the dance sculptures from all over India, especially South India, the Chola sculptures, which demonstrate sort of dance poses from hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. So let's move on, speaking of art, to our next and final segment of artworks. And we'll meet a few more of the artists as well. The music in this segment will be an instrumental Bollywood medley played on the Israj by Arshad Khan.
Everybody, Namaste. My name is Sid Thakur and I am from a town in central part of India named Indore. My passion is paper cutting. It's a hobby that I picked up from an art magazine back when I was in high school. It's an artwork that I create using paper and cutting with scissors and craft knives. All the artwork is my original ideas, and I work on themes like mythology, science fiction, abstract and geometric patterns. Through my artwork, I really want to convey to everybody that you can be creative by using nothing more than these tools. So be creative, go out there and enjoy creating something using your own hands. I'm very thankful to International Festival for inviting me and being part of this lovely event. And I wish you all a very safe and happy 2021. Namaste.
Hello, Namaste. My name is Ravindra Kamath. I am from India. Now I am living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Painting is my passion and also it is my life. My family and I moved from India to USA for a better life. But in the process, did I lose something important? Yes, indeed. I lost my connections with my culture, tradition and relatives. My work captures my emotions and experiences. I think about how my family feels back home, how they are treated in the society, and I am responding to my environment here and current events around me. I draw inspiration from natural world and create conceptual, abstract and surreal work that focus on some of my feelings and evoke nostalgic moments. Ajji painting. Ajji means old woman. That is one of my favorite painting, and I created this painting soon after reaching USA. I was thinking about those feelings of loneliness, helplessness from the people I left back home. Over the years, I have created a lot of paintings and going to continue to develop my practice. You can find more about me and my artwork on my website pinakaart.com.
Hi, my name is Varsha Pradhan and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been painting for more than 40-50 years and I've shown my work in galleries in Charlotte and outside of Charlotte. Some of my themes are varied and one of them is the Indian theme. The one that I submitted is about bridal jewelry from different parts of India, and the other painting is about turbans of the different Maharajas from different provinces of India. This was before the British rule. So they have a distinct shape of their turban and the style. And I have done series of both these, and that's what I'm submitting. I like to use acrylic colors, although I do use oils and sometimes palette knife. The reason to show these is to show the culture of India and the rich history and the rich culture and the wealth that India had before the British came. And that's what I would like to show in this exhibition. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anjali Shroff and I'm an artist based in Cary, North Carolina. I was born in India and started my early art career there. My father has been my mentor and support throughout my journey as an artist. My college degree is in commercial arts and teaching art is my area of passion. In 2008, I started my own art studio, Discovery Art Studio. I love to share my knowledge and experiences with students of all ages and work with a variety of mediums including oil, acrylic, watercolor, pencils, and pastels. My work and my students' work has been featured in exhibitions across the state and nationally. Many have also been awarded for winning art competitions. I encourage my students to use art as a means of self-expression or share a message with the world. Thank you.
My name is Meeta Chandra and I am a professional artist based out of Cary, North Carolina and have been an art instructor for over 30 years. I would like to share one of my favorite painting of Radhakrishnan which I have painted in the devotional art form called Pichwai. This painting was done on canvas using oil colors and is a form of artwork that has its roots in Rajasthan. It is typically displayed as a backdrop in large temples and religious events. I was inspired to paint this artwork as this form of God is who I worship at home and it brings me a sense of calmness, positive vibes and instills strength to me and my family. To me, art is a different form of therapy as it is energizing and gives me a way to keep exploring myself and my passions. It never fails to keep me motivated and provides me with a great sense of accomplishment. Thank you, and I hope my artwork is able to bring out the same for you all.
I'm Pat Mahoney, and this is my painting, Agra Memories.
When I began my career some 35 years ago, I gained national exposure for my interest in painting building facades. I started by depicting local buildings and then turned to facades in Europe and Morocco. My interest in facades stems from the fact that no matter what you see on the outside, you have no idea of what is lurking behind the facade. In this case, the facade hid the view of the Taj Mahal.
So So that was our third and final segment of artworks. And again, I'd like to remind you that you can view all of these paintings and other kinds of works on the International Focus website, which is www.internationalfocus.org until January 3rd. Thank you all for participating and being present for the first virtual art show organized by International Focus. And thanks to all of the artists who contributed those wonderful pieces. If you enjoyed this session, please keep an eye out for our next art show opening in late February. The show will feature the art of Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. I would again like to thank our sponsors for tonight's show. The sponsors are the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors, the Heritage India Association of North Carolina, Rohini Thakkar Joshi, and the International Focus board member, Sejal Mehta. And a big thank you to our special guest, Asha Bala, along with Smita Prasad and the Leela Foundation dancers, as well as Professor Alan Buck of Meredith College, who put the whole slideshow together, and that was an amazing feat. Remember, you can join, donate, or sponsor a program of International Focus by contacting Leila Bekri or visiting the International Focus website. Thank you for joining us, and on behalf of International Focus, I wish you a good night.
Mm-hmm.